pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll introduce Dr. Hammock, and she will proceed with our Student of the Month.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to see you all tonight. And I just want to take a few moments and share with you a short update about Hornet Park and then move on to our Student of the Month for tonight. Instructionally, I wanted to share that we're past that middle of the year checkpoint now and have been able to kind of collect all that data and look at the middle of the year snapshot. How's Hornet Park doing? And I'm here to report that we've shown a lot of growth. We're on target. And I'm really proud of our progress. With our school plan that's kind of developed through the TAP process, our first overarching goal is in reading. And if my Hornet Park kids will know that I talk about being a reading machine all the time. And so our winter target in kindergarten was a RIT of 147, and our actual score was 149. So our kindergarten kids beat their winter target RIT, which is just the score. And first grade followed suit. Their goal was 168, and they scored a 170. So not only did they meet, but they exceeded in reading. And then really all of the components of our TAP school plan at the middle year checkpoint, they've either met or exceeded what our expectation was and showed exceptional growth. So proud of the teachers and the students at Hornet Park. Every month I'm trying to update you on our parent-community partnership. That's something we're really working a lot on this year at Hornet Park and at Central. And I wanted to just let you know, every board meeting I get to tell you that usually the next night is our Support for Busy Parents session. So tomorrow, which is Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the tap room at Hornet Park, we'll be doing our next session of Support for Busy Parents. And the focus is on building riders. So ways you can incorporate riding into things you do at home. So we hope that you'll be able to come out and join us. Currently our PTO is facilitating a supply drive. It's called Show Your Love to Your School or to Your Teacher. And the Hornet Park Central PTO and staff have worked together to come up with basically the top 5 needs that teachers would love to have replenished at this point in the year. So for those families who have already sent things in, we really appreciate it. And for the involvement in getting it planned, we're very thankful for that. We have a PTO meeting next week. Central Hornet Park PTO meets next week at 6 p.m. on Thursday the 19th, and that will be held at Hornet Park. Just a little shout out to some of our latest parent volunteers. Every month I have opportunities in the newsletter, but this month we've had a parent that's volunteering for afternoon car rider dismissal. She's actually relieving one of our pregnant staff members, which was just a really nice gesture. It's one of those where we could do it, but it's so kind to have extra hands on deck. We've got volunteers being reading buddies in the building, teaming up with individual and small groups of kids. And then we also have some parents who are willing to do some of that plug and chug work of copying and stapling books that are leveled readers for kids. So just very thankful for the community and parent involvement. And then as we think about the fact that this weekend is Valentine's Day, I just want to share that at Hornet Park we love our kids and we love our families and we love our staff. And one particular student who we love very much we'd like to share with you tonight is our Hornet Park Student of the Month, Kristen Kingston. So Kristen, will you come on down? All right, now, both the teachers that shared have very, very sweet things to say tonight. For Miss A.J., her classroom teacher, Kristen is always willing to help. In fact, so much so that she prefers and asks to help in the classroom during indoor recess, like passing out papers, cleaning up, sorting things around the room, even more than playing. She follows directions and participates in every activity we do with enthusiasm. She's a frequent Sunny Stopper. Those are kids that get to come to my office for a good visit. And you're up there, what, 3-4 times a week? Because she's so often flipping up past superstar peak, which in Hornet Park language, the best behavior you can have for the day. She's quiet and she sits patiently and correctly in line. She's an all-around good student and a friend. I absolutely just love having her in class. So happy she was picked. I would like to edit Miss A.J. and say she wasn't picked, she earned that. So, and then finally for Mrs. Borger, I cannot come up with the proper words to clearly describe the sweet little student that stands in front of you all tonight. Kristen is a helpful, compassionate, and giving child. Her ability to empathize with others outmatches some of the
but a leader in our school. She's a child that makes your day better and easier. It's been a pleasure to get to know Kristen, to see her sweet smile daily, and to see her heart of gold shine. So ladies and gentlemen, you know that, Kristen Lee.
This is Mr. Butler with Central Elementary School.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to take a couple minutes and talk about school attendance. That was something that's been on our mind at Central. It, to be perfectly honest, hasn't been the best since we've been back from Christmas break. So I really want to just kind of highlight some of the ways that we recognize outstanding attendance at Central. So every afternoon when I do my end of the day announcements, I announce those classrooms that have had perfect attendance for the day. So every single day, if the classroom had 100% attendance, so all the students were there and on time, they get recognition. After 20 days of that, they get an ice cream party for the classroom to have to celebrate. Now, that takes a lot sometimes. Some of our classrooms, that is a little bit more challenging, but it's a goal that they work together as a group. Every month, we celebrate the boys and girls who have perfect attendance from the previous month by announcing their names in the morning announcements. So this week, every morning, I'm going through and reading every child's name who'd had perfect attendance for January. So those students go into a drawing, and then Mrs. Wolf pulls out names from those students, and then they get a special extra award on Friday at lunch. Next Wednesday, on February the 18th, we will celebrate the boys and girls who had 100 days of perfect attendance. We used to do a perfect attendance luncheon for first semester and for second semester, and May comes and it's so crazy. So Mrs. Wolf and I kind of brainstormed last year, and we decided just to recognize those students that had 100 days of perfect attendance. You know, at the end of the year as well, boys and girls who have perfect attendance for the year get an award. Almost perfect attendance, which is outstanding attendance, they get an award or met the attendance goal. So we do lots of things to recognize perfect attendance or good attendance with our boys and girls. At Central, we're very high expectations for attendance, and perfect attendance for us means perfect attendance every minute of every day. Didn't leave for a doctor's appointment, didn't come in 5 minutes late, which is why we have outstanding attendance for boys and girls who may be missed for just a little bit. This is all leading up to next week. It's going to be Attendance Awareness Week. Mrs. Wolf has worked on some special announcements, some incentives for the boys and girls, for those who are present and on time each day. So all of that is leading into, clearly, school can't be made up. Make-up work is such a word that just really doesn't fit, because you can never make up for what you miss in the classroom. And although we know illness is sometimes it's completely impossible to beat at school if you're sick, we need you there every single day, because at Central we have so many important assessments coming up. My next section was on ISTEP, which I really can't speak to, because as we all know, we're not for sure what's going to be happening in the next few weeks, although I can tell you that we're prepared for whatever assessment comes our way. I will tell you that iRead will be happening for all third graders, and that is going to be on St. Patrick's Day, which I think will be add a little added extra luck to our boys and girls when they take that test, which they won't necessarily need. But keep in mind that iRead is the gateway test to fourth grade. All students have to pass iRead before they're able to be promoted to fourth grade. So I'm confident in the efforts of the boys and girls to be able to do well on these assessments. And I know that Dr. Hammock will get information to all of us as soon as we know what the change in the assessments are going to be. So all of that stuff is important, but the most important thing is Isabel Boyce, and she's going to come up right now. She's our January Student of the Month. So, Isabel is a second grader in Mrs. Tao's classroom. Mrs. Tao says Isabel is always smiling and happy. She is liked by everyone in class. Isabel is always on task and working hard. Her hard work was reflected by her winter NWEA scores, which were outstanding. She is sweet and always a great helper. Miss Witt worked with Isabel last semester and reports that Isabel was always attentive during group work and was eager to answer questions. She was a joy to work with. Mrs. Dobbs, another teacher on her team, describes Isabel as helpful, thoughtful, and bright. She is a student who strives for excellence in her work. Finally, Mrs. Etter states that Isabel is incredibly sweet and well-behaved. She is talented in music and catches on to skills quickly. She is respectful to adults and other students. She sets a good example for all students in the class and is a good help that can be trusted during transition times. It is my pleasure to present Isabel Boyce, our January Student of the Month.
This is Mrs. Reed from South Grove Intermediate School.
Good evening. I'm going to kind of piggyback on what Mr. Buckler got started with I-STEP testing. It does begin Monday, March 2nd. With the current schedule, which we have in our hands but might change, the South Grove students will be testing for 6 days. 2 days for math, 3 days for language arts and reading, and 1 day for either science or social studies, depending on the grade that they are in. Our students, like the central students and the middle school students, are prepared to take these tests. We are ready to go. There's a lot of negative out there in the press right now about I-STEP, but what we're trying to do with our students is just stay very positive, so we want our parents to stay positive as well. They are ready to go. They started preparing July 31st. They have learned the standards. They have practiced the standards. We have assessed. We have remediation built into the day. We have enrichment built into the day. And I know I can speak for middle school and central as well. So we're ready to go. So if I can plead to the parents, make sure they do get good sleep, make sure they do eat well, and just be very positive when your child leaves the door that they are ready to go, because we are ready to go with that. And I also wanted to touch base on our HVAC at South Grove. Over Christmas, we had 12 classrooms done with new HVAC, and it's wonderful. Even with the changes in the weather outside, we're not noticing it inside the building, which is a great thing, because we were having issues with that. So now we're just waiting for the last classrooms to get their HVAC done, hopefully this summer. But just to give you an update that it has been a good thing, no complaints, the kids are great, they're not wearing coats, they're not sweating. It's just a good, steady, even temperature in most of our building except for the 6th grade wing. So we're just waiting on that. So just an update on our HVAC and how great it's been, because that indeed contributes to the learning environment, which is what we're trying to get, a great learning environment for our children. So, and I would like to call Zachary Chandler up here and introduce him as South Grove Student of the Month. Stand right here by me. Zachary is the son of Bill and Cheryl Chandler, and Mr. Holmes, his 4th grade teacher, said, "I had the lovely pleasure to be Zach's 4th grade teacher. The one attribute that I really admire about Zach was his hard work ethic. He seems to give his best in everything he does. He doesn't settle to be average or to do things the simple or easy way. He always works so hard to make the right choices at all time. He is really deserving of this award, and I have no doubt he will continue to represent South Grove and himself in a positive way." And Mrs. Stewart, Mrs. Norton were his 5th grade teachers, and they said, "Zach was a wonderful student. He was our classroom geek with the tablets last year, and boy, was he helpful. He knew exactly what to do when a tablet was having issues. Zach also had a wonderful sense of humor and enjoyed participating in class discussions. He was, and is, kind to everyone. He was also an avid reader, and what a wonderful choice for Student of the Month." Mr. Von Dilligan, his 6th grade teacher, said, "Zachary is a mindful student who is self-motivated and willing to put in the time and effort required to succeed. I enjoy having Zachary in class because he fits the motto of South Grove, ready, responsible, and respectful." And Ms. Walker, his other 6th grade teacher, said, "Zachary is a wonderful student and role model. He is conscientious, hardworking, and a great classroom participator. Zachary is incredibly intelligent, but is able to work with others in class without ever being condescending." That's pretty insightful, I think. "He is a deep thinker that offers unique insight into classroom activities and discussions. He also has a wonderful sense of humor and is just a joy for both the students and teachers to be around." So this is Zachary Chandler. I know that great. Really good stuff.
Mr. Gerhardt, Beech Grove Middle School.
Well, there isn't much left to say on I-STEP after Mr. Buckler and Mrs. Reed, but I will reiterate that we will also be ready to go at Beech Grove Middle School, whatever the spring testing brings us. So the only thing that I would encourage is that once we do finalize a schedule, that
Students are there every day for testing. We held our annual spelling bee last January, and Mr. Bear emceed that for us, as he's done for the past 6 years. Our third place winner was a young man named Daryl Diss. Second place was taken by 8th grader Marcus Bowden, and Cheyenne Rain Varner, a 7th grader, took first place and moved on to regionals, and I will update you and let you know how she did on that next month. Our academic team has one meet left. That is tomorrow at Franklin Central West. Our 7th grade team is currently undefeated, and our 8th grade team has 3 wins and 3 losses. 8th grade beating both Ben Davis schools and Decatur Central. The highlight of the 7th grade team would be a 35-17 win over Raymond Park, which is in Warren Central. The season, although the last regular season meet is tomorrow, the season actually concludes with the Marion County Tournament on February 11th, and that is at Northview Middle School, which is right there next to North Central. BGMS had 30 entries in the solo ensemble contest last Friday. 22 students earned gold, which is the highest. 8 students earned silver, which is the second highest. And 2 of our students entered Group 1, which is the high school group, and represented themselves very well. Lily Ferguson received a silver rating playing the alto sax, and Brianna Small received a gold rating in Group 1 and will advance to the state solo ensemble contest. But the most important reason would be honoring our Student of the Month. If Emily would come forward, please. The Galilei teachers write this about Ms. Johnson: honest, diligent, hardworking, compassionate, kind, friendly, dependable, sincere. These are traits that define the character of Emily Johnson. Emily's work ethic and enthusiasm for learning make her a joy to teach. She comes to class daily with a smile that lights up the room. She is willing to volunteer or run an errand now and then. Emily is diligent with her studies and works hard in all of her classes. Always on task and eager to learn, teachers know that Emily can be trusted to contribute valuable information to discussions. Emily treats her classmates with kindness and respect and is frequently noticed helping peers or explaining concepts to peers. Her willingness to go the extra mile makes her a model BGMS student. Emily displays the same classroom qualities on the athletic field. She participates in cross-country, basketball, and track for Beech Grove Middle School. Coaches rely on Emily to always help. She is a natural leader, helping guide her teammates to make good choices. Emily's actions emulate the behaviors that BGMS and BGCS wants all students to display. Her great sportsmanship and attitude have been noted by opposing coaches who compliment her on her positive disposition and support for all athletes. Emily's upbeat attitude is contagious. It's with great honor the Galileo team selects Emily Johnson as its Student of the Month. Congratulations.
Mr. Clevenger from Beech Grove High School.
Hello. I am filling in for Mr. Cox this evening, our principal. Mr. Cox is at the girls' basketball sectional in Greencastle this evening as we speak. Actually, they're tipping off right now. Our girls are playing Danville this evening. It is one of the toughest sectionals in the state. I think we saw yesterday it's the second best winning percentage. There's not a team in the sectional with a losing record, so it should be a very competitive week, and hopefully our girls will do well. And we took a group of about 25 on a fan bus tonight, and hopefully we'll make another trip Friday and again on Saturday. So he asked me to cover for him this evening. Also in athletics, besides girls basketball this week, we have big-time wrestling at Newcastle on Saturday. We have 2 young men involved in the semi-state wrestling tournament, and that is Ethan and Evan Smiley. Talking with the coaching staff, they're extremely optimistic that those guys will both get through the semi-state this weekend in Newcastle and be in the state finals next week here in Indianapolis. So we wish them a lot of luck. It's starting to become tournament time for the winter sports, and Beech Grove High School is right there. one team in the athletic arena that's not quite started yet, but kind of doesn't get mentioned a lot. It's a, quote, minor sport. Our boys swim team has a record of 11-2 right now. So I wanted to throw that in. They kind of are under the water, so to speak. But they are having a fantastic season, and they deserve mention as well. In the academic realm, we don't have to have our tests quite as soon as these other people do, so we're still waiting in May. We're not quite ready yet, but we don't have to be ready till May, so we're still working at it. We did the SATs, the ACTs, and all those scores are coming in. We did have one outstanding score. Stephen Allmeyer was almost a 1,400 on his SAT score, so we were real happy for him, and he's really the top of the pack right now on that. Probably two of the biggest things Mr. Cox has implemented since we've come back from break is in the communications realm. We're kind of stealing Melody Stevens' Hornet Blast, and we have the Grover in the high school. I think the second edition comes out this week. Mr. Pugh and Mr. Starks and Mr. Cox are working on that, and it is a high school only Hornet Blast, so to speak, and we're calling it the Grover, and there's a lot of information for students, parents, staff, anyone that's interested in what's going on at the high school. Along the same vein, we had Mr. Cox has started up a Twitter page, BGHS Hornets for the staff, and Grover at the Hornet for parents and students. And we really feel like we want to ratchet up communication. Everyone needs to know what's going on all the time, even though Ms. Stevens and Ms. Morgan do just a super job with that. We want to make sure in the high school there's so many different things that we want to make sure we get things going on out there. Mr. Bush announced just this week the spring play will be Charlotte's Web, and that will be on March 12th, 13th, and 14th. That's something that's really special for smaller kids. Hopefully, he encourages us to all have our small children read the book, so when they came to see the play, they have a really better understanding of that. So he always does a great job on those performances, so we're looking forward to that. This past weekend, we had 12 students compete in the solo and ensemble for instrumentalists. Mr. Wynn informed us that all 12 qualified for the state round, which is, I believe, in 2 weeks. So Mr. Wynn and Mr. Bradford, of course, continue to do a great job with the band students. And speaking of great students, if Olivia Malone would come up. Olivia is our student of the month in the high school. Olivia is a sophomore, and she is the daughter of Ryan and Brandy Malone. After 3 semesters of work at the high school, Olivia ranks 7th out of 228 sophomores. She has a grade point average of 4.11. She belongs to the Student Council, the FFA, the Spanish Club, and the Math Club. She's also a class officer. Her volunteer community activities, she told me she worked planting trees for the University Heights Neighborhood Association, and she'll do some more things this spring on our community service days. Her future plans, she would like to earn her way, and the word is earn, her way to Indiana University Medical School and pursue a career in neuroscience. And she's just not talking. Toward that end, Olivia is working with Mr. Banks and Dr. Clark Gedney of Purdue University on a research project studying the growth, glioblastoma, and that is and she wants to help the development and the methodology to slow and cease the growth of those cells. Since I didn't know I was doing this till yesterday, I looked that up, and they are very dangerous, cancerous brain tumors, and she's going to stop that for us. So she's well on her way to getting that done. In her a couple teachers nominated Olivia. Ms. Barker wrote that Olivia is constantly striving to be the best student she can be. She asks questions, works hard, and gets her assignments done on time. She uses time in class appropriately and helps those around her as well. She is a great student, and I'm thrilled to have her in my class, and frankly, we are thrilled to have someone of this quality in Beech Grove High School. Olivia Malone.
This is Ms. Meyer from the Hornets Richmond Academy.
Good
evening, everyone. Just a few things to pass along to you. Academically, as we pass midterm, each of our students should be halfway through their courses. As most of you know, we assign 2 courses each 9 weeks, and they should be at the halfway point in order to meet their goal of completion by the end of the 9 weeks. When they finish a course, then of course we assign the next course. Also, a reminder to all, not only HEA students, but also all high school students, that we continue our evening program on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3:30 to, from 3 to 6. And I think about most of our desks were full tonight, so that was great. Our life skills and wellness focus for the month of February is School to Career. Tomorrow, the 11th, Ms. Thomas will be doing a FAFSA presentation to help prepare our students for filling out that important document. She did the same presentation last year, and we will do that again. As a follow-up to that, we will also have some other college activities where our students will be exploring colleges in Indiana, and they'll be doing a little scavenger hunt with that. The next week, we'll be going to Vincennes for a college visit. When I asked Ms. Thomas today, she said we had 27 students signed up to go to Vincennes, so we're thrilled with that. Also to remind everyone that our students, each of our students participate in our Step It Up program, which is sponsored by DEEM, which encourages academic progress and attendance. With that being said, just to point out that this last week we had 24 students of our 50 students that had perfect attendance for that week, which was great for our students, and each one of them received an incentive for that. In March, our focus will be back again on community service, and Ms. Condon will be taking a group of students to Gleaner's Food Bank. It's my understanding they'll be working at the pantry this time as opposed to the warehouse. And of course, any interested student can see Ms. Condon for details about that community service project. I believe she's taking a group for 3 times for that project. I want to introduce our student of the month, who is Caitlin Brown. If Caitlin would come up. Caitlin is an HEA adult learner and returned to high school to attend our evening session and complete her high school diploma. She is the daughter of Dave Stanger. She also has 3 children, Cameron, who is 9, Madeline, who is 6, and Mason, who is 2. Caitlin enrolled at the HEA first semester, and she will complete all of the final requirements for graduation by the end of this semester. Caitlin was nominated by our staff for her positive attitude, her work ethic, her commitment, and her determination. She is also enrolled in our School to Career program, so she also works a part-time job. She is currently employed part-time at Turkey Hill, and after she graduates, plans to attend college and pursue a career in legal studies. She is also interested in art and artistic expression. She enjoys writing poetry and reading poems. The HEA staff described her as being focused and determined. She has demonstrated the qualities of not only a successful student, but as a successful adult as well. And she has been a role model for all of our other students. She is conscientious about her work, thorough, and gives her best effort academically. We appreciate her contributions to our school community, her being a role model for our other students, and we want to congratulate her on her hard work and dedication, and we look forward to her continued success.
Dr. Kaiser?
I'm going to ask Ms. Meyer to come back up, and she mentioned the Step It Up program, so could you come back to the podium and talk a little bit more about that?
We call it Step It Up. We actually had a student name it. And when we were talking about some of the goals that we had for our students, one was attendance. We have to get our kids through the door. We have to get them through the door every day in order for them to make academic progress. The second thing, besides attendance and academic progress. And so as we were having conversations with our student one day, we had a student say, you know what, we just need to step it up. Thus the name, Step It Up. So as we were talking with Dr. Kaiser and staff and I sat down, we had the opportunity to meet with representatives from DEEM and talk to them not only about our students, but about their individual needs and what some of our goals were for the program. And so we presented a proposal to them that was an incentive program for our student, whereby our students would earn points for attendance and academic progress. We don't extend the program beyond that because those are our 2 goals. So with their support, we were able to implement this program second 9 weeks. Our students earned points. We calculated them. Every 2 weeks, they got a paycheck. The same as a Beech Grove employee got a paycheck. They got a paycheck. They earned points. They were able to cash them in, save them. When we left for Christmas break that last day, we probably passed out 30 gift cards. Our students were able to, based upon their point level, cash those in. I would say this was, I think, an aha moment for us, for our kids. They talked about, putting gas in their tank, going to McDonald's, and initially. But that last day, at the end of the first 9 weeks of that program, those kids used those gift cards for Christmas gifts for the family. Ultimately, that's what they ended up, not all of them, but I would say 80%, that's what they used those gift cards for the day they walked out that day. When we came back second semester, we looked at our data and said, this is working. But we needed to refine it a little bit, simplify it a little bit. The kids wanted us to do it a little differently, and so we simplified the program. So essentially what our kids do now, every week that they have perfect attendance, they earn a little ticket. Believe it or not, high school students, young adults, they like incentives, we like incentives as adults. So they earn a ticket for a snack shop item. And with our sponsorship through Dean, we are able to buy snack shop items. We bought a Keurig, they can have a coffee, a hot chocolate, and they can cash those little tickets in Monday through Friday. At the end of the second week, they can get another ticket for another snack shop item. They also earn a $5 gift card at the end of the second week for perfect attendance. Last week, I passed out 24 $5 gift cards. They loved them. That's like the greatest thing ever. So they also wanted us to simplify when they earned a credit. So with students, and we sat down and we talked about it, every time one of our students earns a credit, they get another small gift card. So when we give them recognition, and we do a little celebration at the end of every session, when we have certificates to pass out to our students, when they get their certificate now, they also get their $5 gift card, which is a huge deal. Friday, I had a student walk out with 3 gift cards. He had earned 2 credits, plus he had perfect attendance, plus his snack shop ticket for the week. What this program is allowing us to do, number one, is get our students through the door. It buys them lunch. If they have a gift card to Burger King or McDonald's, buys them a Starbucks. It puts gas in their car. Many of our students, probably 3/4 of our students, drive. They provide their own transportation. That is a huge help to them and supports their academic and social success. So we feel very fortunate to deem that we've had the opportunity to provide these incentives to our students and help them be successful. The greatest thing for us is to get them through the door. And when I look around our building today and every seat is filled, and it has been filled pretty much every day of the past month, that's success to us. And we're really thrilled to be able to offer this program to our students.
Kelly, over the last year, how many kids graduated?
I think we are at 57, and we're looking at another 30 this semester.
And I want to point out, many of these kids are not graduates. They're getting behind the graduate. It's part of life. And whether we realize it or not, we have kids that have to work. Some kids drop out to work. They have challenging home situations. And a $5 gift card may not seem a lot, but it's good to take a cat to work. And we're trying to simulate, this is all Kelly and her team have come up with that idea. We're trying to simulate real life. And if you work hard, there's a reward. Okay? And money is not a motivator, it's a satisfier. But when you're living, I remember back in 1973, 4 or 5 when I was in high school, just getting gas money to get from 42nd Emerson to downtown to 14th Meridian, that was a lot for our family. And for our kids, it's the same thing. Every little bit helps. We have kids, they take money till they have for the kid. So it's a huge, huge plus for us. And, the second part of this presentation is I had the privilege of having breakfast with Tom Zucancy and Andy Colbert. Why don't you guys come on up here? We'll put you on the spot right now. And thank you very much, Kelly. And you don't have to do a speech, just have to sit and smile. We had breakfast, gosh, back early in the fall up at Dale's. If you haven't been to Dale's for breakfast, it's wonderful. Today was my birthday, so as my birthday, you got to put it in the office, so I just had Dale's bring it in. So we had pancakes, this is gravy, so actually, if you saw me, I was sitting on my wow. This is great, but we're sitting out there talking, they're a business partner, they do a lot of work repairing our HVAC, and most of our HVAC is 25 years old, except Mill these some pockets along the way. That's why we're having an election this spring to try to take care of that. They come in and their business partner, they try to fix it, maintain it, do a lot of things. That's just part of it. And we're talking about this relationship with Tom and Andrew, and we started talking about community service. And I said, we want to put a community service program in for our high school. And I said, well, we want to get teachers, and Tom just said, we'll sponsor. And out of that, out of both those two working together, we had 900 high school kids in the fall out of the community wearing their nice, bright shirts, community service. Of course, we put the B logo on them because, we want them to know we appreciate what they do. I can't buy gift cards for school tax money. State Board of Accounts doesn't like that. So we went through the Education Foundation, and we had these guys come in and we showed them the program, and they said, hey, we'd like to do this. Boom. Within 5 hours we had sponsorship. And we appreciate what they do. And when you look at, I'm trying not to get emotional, but when you look at what's a community partner, it's about kids. And, these two guys individually as an organization are about kids. So we want to take the time tonight to honor them. First of all, with a community service, Community Service Day, November 12th, 2014. Yeah, that's 70. And no, you don't have to wear it, but we'd like to put it in your office somewhere. Remember, you guys are always wanted. And special thanks to Melody for arranging all this. Beach Road City Schools recognize Tom's advantage and gratitude and gratitude and deep appreciation for your generosity sponsorship. And we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Winston Churchill. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You guys are getting together and seeing the passion of the staff that you have there. And Dr. Kaiser, you're blessed. I think it's a pleasure for us to be a part of it.
We are going to spend a little time talking again about ISTEP, and I appreciate very much that our Central, South Grove, and middle school principals were very mindful of the upcoming ISTEP and their presentation. And I just wanted to clear the air for you guys on kind of the unknowns, because there are some, and sort of also inform you with the knowns, some of the things that we know and are kind of embracing. Our schools have done a phenomenal job of taking the new standards, which were implemented last year, and have absolutely done the hard work of unpacking the new standards, aligning them to their curriculum, identifying local assessments to try to, make sure that our local schools are prepared for the new time. They have worked with their teachers through the new types of assessment questions that we've been made aware of, and the blueprints that the DOE has given us. We feel very prepared for the new ISTEP examination. As you know, the ISTEP is given in sort of two sections. So there's part one, which is coming up here literally in about 10 school days. And then there's part two that will be administered at the end of April, early May. Last week, this is how new some of this information is. Last week, we were notified by the Department of Education that the operational time of the new ISTEP is going to be double what the students are used to. So, for example, a third grader, third grade happens to be the grade level that is the most sort of hours for testing. We're looking at 12 and a half hours of operational ISEP administration. There was 3.5 hours of practice test time that was allocated for third grade. Third grade is unique in that after part 1 of the ISEP, they roll right into IRE 3, which is 100 minutes of testing, almost 2 hours for the IRE 3. So you're literally looking at 15, 16 hours with a third grader will be experiencing an operational, sort of testing time for those kids. So we found that out a week ago. The schools were phenomenal. I mean, it was a hard pill to swallow, but it was what it was. I mean, we couldn't argue with it. So we mobilized and were prepared and really tried to figure out how this was going to get finished. And we did that. If y'all were aware that yesterday, the governor made a sort of executive order that the ISEP test would be shortened, which is great, and I really appreciate how the governor sort of had the heart of boys and girls and families, in mind, because, he, I'm sure, was getting quite a bit of feedback as far as folks who were very frustrated with the amount of testing time. So it was kind of ironic because the ISEP exams, literally the paper copies, were delivered yesterday at Beach Grove City School. So, we're kind of looking at those boxes and they're rather metaphoric in that, we don't really know yet kind of what the mandate will be. What we learned today from the news, not from the Department of Ed, but from the news, is that the governor has hired an expert kind of consultant, $40,000, who's going to review the current ISEP and how we can shorten that test in a week. Right? I mean, as we understand, the test windows are remaining, sort of what they are. So it is an unprecedented experience that we are experiencing right now. We are ready to roll, absolutely. I mean, our boys and girls are prepared. I was just at Central today for the TLC, and Patty, who's our master teacher there, said, we're ready. We are so ready. These kids are ready, and we're really prepared, and we think that they're going to do great because we've done all the hard work. But at this point, we really are at a wait-and-see kind of status. We've had quite a bit of media coverage on this. So Channel 13 covered kind of the extra test last week, and then we had Channel 6 show up today. As I understand it, we were the lead story tonight. So there's definitely a lot of media, kind of coverage about this. Which it's a hot topic right now. So I would expect that within a week or so we should know, but it's just unfortunate that we don't when we are so close to sort of when that first administration will be. In your board update, I just wanted for you, because I'm sure you're getting questions from families as board members, I wanted you to have the most updated information on sort of when these assessments are being given, because it was about a week and a half ago the State Department of Education decided to expand the test windows to sort of accommodate for the additional allocation of time that was needed for the ISEP. So you have the most updated windows in your board update. If you ever get any questions about these assessments that you feel like you need any extra information, I hope you have myself call any time. I mean, we want you guys armed with the most up-to-date information that we can get you. We are literally just waiting for news, and we will make it happen depending on whatever sort of is decided. But as you kind of scroll through, my update, we are doing an awful lot of testing in this district, and we appreciate our families for getting our kiddos prepared for those tests and getting them to sleep, kind of early and being prepared for testing, because the accountability that is sort of as a result of these examinations is huge. So we can have all this sort of, stuff happening on the outside, but when push comes to shove, we are still accountable. So we'll do it. It'll be fine. But yeah, that was really the crux of my update tonight. I just wanted to kind of give you the information that we knew about ISTEP and certainly offer us to you should you have to field any questions that might be concerning for you. I have one extra kind of fun, nice piece, so let's finish on a positive. We are mobilizing right now for our spring intercession, so that's just a lovely thing to think about. It's spring break anyway, and spring intercession. We have kind of a last-minute addition to your agenda that I didn't want to have you sort of be caught off guard for. One of the spring intercession proposals is from Leanne Blazer. She is that incredible teacher in our middle school, and she is wanting to lead a week-long intercession with a sincere study of the Holocaust, which she has been doing, and kind of a juxtaposition of not only really diving into the Holocaust experience, but contrasting the genocide in Rwanda that is a little bit more sort of current, kind of a compare contrast of those two desperate situations. As a culmination kind of experience on the Friday of intercession, she wants to take, with Wendy Epstein as kind of the co-sponsor, on an out-of-state field trip. It was just a day-long field trip, so they're not spending the night, but they would leave at 8 in the morning and get back at 9 o'clock at night to go to Chicago, to the Illinois Holocaust Museum that's there. As I understand it, Leanne has some pretty incredible connections with some staff there, so she's going to really make a neat experience for the kids. We always get just the highest feedback from our students who participate in trips with Leanne. She does a fantastic job of making it very affordable for the kids, and I really recommend, allowing for this trip to happen. She's done the hard work of making this a really incredible experience. I think we're going to vote on that later in our agenda, so I'm not asking for your approval at this point. I just wanted to give you the background.
And I might add, in the fall, they went to the Terre Haute Holocaust Museum, and my daughter went as a chaperone, my 22-year-old, and she was just mesmerized. If you saw the article about 2 weeks ago on the front, they did a story on the Terre Haute, and she and her husband were both captive during that period of time. So it is truly a great experience for our kids from that standpoint. And we got a lot of neat activities for our kids, in addition to remediation, a lot of fun enrichment activities over break to keep our kids engaged.
Okay, thank you. We need to approve the minutes. I'm sorry, I didn't know you had something different. Yes, I did. I'm sorry, Melody.
Are upset for that, but that was really great. And then Dr. Nicholas said so I'll grab that later time. And then Kelly, you went and talked about the teacher at South Road. We were going to do this break last Friday. There's a total of 3 about the day. I heard every child will get 30 days in school. But President Obama decided to come last Friday. So, I don't know why they thought that was more important than our bed, because they did. So anyway, Kelly is going to, and just agreed it on standby in case he's doing it again also. So, I'm just going to say, you can't have 30 minutes to the second, you guys No, I'm not. It's okay, it's okay like that. Yeah. But they all represent us very, very well. It's so nice to have great staff who do a great job. It's great. Our redesign of the BGCS website is underway. As template regarding the children and trends for the intention of things over, I think it would be happy to use the
Thank you, Melody. Now we do need to approve the minutes. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on approval of the regular meeting minutes of January 13th and the board finance and the work session minutes? Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. We need also claims. Approve the claims. It's been moved and seconded to approve the claims for February. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Any public comment on our agenda? I take none. Who's with it? Dr. Kaiser will fill in for Dr. Keeley this evening on a business update.
A couple updates. Mad Dog Keeley, Dr. Keeley's daughter is in the final rounds of the regional. She advanced from 20 down to the next level. We just got a text from her. And our girls basketball team was up 2 at halftime at Greencastle against Danville. So, little sports update as we're moving along. So Dr. Keeley's not here tonight because he's watching his daughter. And for those that don't know, we have an agreement with the Parks Department. And I understand that Mr. Skirvin is our new president. So we'll make that little adjustment in our motion there. And many years ago, Doc Showalter and the mayor of Beach Grove at that time came together to create a true community center for Beach Grove. And we were part of that, and we have a 20-year lease for us to be able to use the one room kind of on that connects Hornet Park and the community center. And also, most people don't realize that we really don't own the land where the tennis courts are or the soccer courts. Those actually belong to the city of Beach Grove, and we release those every 20 years. Well, the 20 years is up. Remember last year before, we did the building part of it, and now it's time to do, the agreement, re-up the agreement with the Parks Board to continue using that property. And so in front of you, you have a motion that allows us to continue the lease at no cost. And also it authorizes me to send a letter to now Mr. Skirvin, President of the Parks Board, giving them written notice of our intent to keep the lease renewed for the next 20 years. And I will add, the next 20 years, I will not be here to do this. I hopefully will be retired by that time.
So you don't think your name will be on the next one?
No, I don't think so. I think
Rick, well, yours could be.
So it's more of a procedural to make sure that we, again, when it was put together, I believe your husband was on the Parks Board at that time, and it's just,
He signed it last time.
so it's renewed every 20 years.
Okay. We have a couple motions here that we need to approve. One to, like Dr. Kaiser said, to give official notice, and the other to authorize Dr. Kaiser to provide Rick Skirvin, President, and Dennis Buckley written notice of our intent to renew the lease.